Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Carol Moulton coming to you once again with Tea Time with Carol. I sincerely hope that all is well with you, that things are going well, you're enjoying the weather, whatever it is. I know that there's some areas of the country that are having difficulties right now, but I hope whatever it is that you're facing right now, you're able to do it with grace and kindness and empathy and love, and you're just able to float through all of those things, and you don't see them as impediments or difficulties. So I was thinking this morning as I was preparing to spend this time with you. Oh, wait, I'm running ahead of myself. Wait, let me back up. Sorry. Come on in. Please come in. I've prepared this place for you. I'm pouring the tea and fluffed up the pillows. So please come in, get comfy. I'm not going to be before you long. We're just going to talk for a little bit. And this is part three of the series of getting ready for change. A lot of times we start looking at the calendar and you say, oh, spring is almost here, and before you know it, it'll be bikini season, and I need to lose weight, I need to get ready. And, we're motivated by these external things. But what if we spent some time just being focused on what's going on the inside? What's going on the inside. So let's dive into that. This is part three. I think they're going to be four, maybe five. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I was thinking about doing the inside work, and how things can come up for us sometimes, whether it's fear or whatever that sort of stands in the way of you accomplishing the goal you say you want to meet. And so I think it's important to just kind of stand outside of it, and take a look and see if maybe this is kind of what's going on with you. That's a possibility. So just to do a small little recap, we talked about, before you make a decision to make a change, there's some steps, and the steps don't necessarily happen in this particular order, but they happen, and they can happen so rapidly that you're not always recognizing, oh, this is another step I'm going through. And so it can be a swoosh all at once, or it may take, a period of time for you to go through. But the first one is that contemplation, the before you get ready, and then that's usually met with change. I don't think I need to change. I think everything is perfectly fine. So you may have gone through a little bit of that, or I don't want to be uncomfortable, or I'm afraid what will happen. Who will I be if I change, if I stop doing this particular thing? What does that mean for me? So you can go through a lot of kind of questions like that before you're even ready to make a change. And then, secondly, is sort of an ambivalence that comes in, where you say, I might change. So the first is, I don't need to change. I am perfectly fine the way I am. The second one is, maybe, I might do it, And the third one, which is the one we're going to talk about, is, I will change. And that's your attitude is, yes, I'm going to change, but I'm not ready, but it's going to take money, but I don't have time, but. So you'll see this time as important. You know you need to make a change. You know you're capable of change, but you put off making the change, and you'll find yourself planning and doing all kinds of strategies, and then you find a way to back out. So one of the things that you want to do during this period, if this is where you are now, start, just try and just take one step, or see if you can find some support, in going forward. It's important to go forward, but the just not yet. If not now, when? Because time is moving. Um, when I look back at my life, there are a lot of things that I wish I had done earlier. I'm in school now at this late stage, and it would have been a lot easier if I had done it, you know, much, much earlier in my life. But the other side of that was apparently I wasn't ready. I had a whole lot of other things going on. And I guess at the end of the day, things happen the way that they're supposed to. Part of it is just being aware. And I think at that time in my life, I wasn't aware of the choices that were available to me. I just saw things kind of one way, and I went down a path. And now, hindsight being 2020, I'm able to see things a little bit differently. But anywho, back to you, my beloved. Are you thinking about making a change? And how can we support you in doing that? Have you been like looking at solutions to your problem? Are you thinking, yeah, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for me to make a change. And it could be, you want to eat more healthy. You want to make healthier choices in what you eat. Okay, great. Easy peasy. YouTube, make YouTube your friend, because there are and Pinterest also. There are a million, literally, sites that for nothing will give you options and give you ideas about how to make better choices. And that's something that I think we as Black folks really need to hold ourselves accountable for that. I have recently become vegan, and I'm not gonna get on that bandwagon. I know y'all like your chicken wings. I understand. Me too. I did. But I made a decision a couple of months ago that if I wanted to continue to enjoy a long life, I needed to make better choices. And I also started noticing how when I ate certain things, how it made me feel. So one of the things that I have given up is dairy. And a couple of days ago, maybe, so I'm sharing this to show that I am not perfect by any means. This is a process. My niece made a pineapple cake that looked so good, and she had all kinds of butter and different kinds of milks. I don't know what cream, and I don't know what all else was in there, but it looked absolutely delicious. And so, the cake started calling my name, and, it was like really loud. And so I said, okay, I'll go down and eat a piece. Okay, so I ate a small piece the first day. That was fine. So then that greedy spirit took over. The next day, went back down, and I ate a bigger piece. And that was so good. That greedy spirit said, girl, you want one more piece. Child, let me tell you, I ate that third piece, and I definitely lived to regret it. That I was miserable the rest of the night. I mean, oh my God, I was in so much pain. So I was like, okay, great, lesson learned. I won't do that again. And I'm having a serious chat with that greedy spirit, because that girl, she got to go, because that was not cute. So I'm saying, if you try and you fall down, it's okay. You just pick yourself up and get back on and continue. It's fine. We've all been there. We all do it. And give yourself a little bit of grace as you continue to try to improve. But I really think it's important that we be more intentional about what we're eating, because I think a lot of times we are really quick to run to the pharmacy, or run to the pill box and take a pill, as opposed to looking at alternative ways and looking at maybe the root of what's going on. If you've got a headache, maybe it's something else going on. And I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody. All I am suggesting is that I think a lot of the problems that we have are a result of our diet and our lifestyles, and we can be much more intentional about what we do, what we eat, and how we're taking care of the vessels that we've been gifted with. So that's where we are. That's what we're talking about today. How are you dealing with procrastination? Is that an issue for you? I'm going to pause and take a sip of my tea while y'all think about procrastination. Is that an issue for you? Where you know you need to do something, but you'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow just never really comes. What's up with that? What's up with the procrastination thing? I'm going to start a new diet. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it next week. I'm just about there. I've decided I'm going to change, but just not yet. It's coming. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I promise. I'm going to do it. So, really, really, I plan on it. I'm really going to do it. I'm going to start next week. Okay. Well, I need to take care of these other things first. And once I get, my children situated, and once I take care of my hubby or significant other or my mom, or, once I finish with this project at work, is that you? Is that how you deal with things that need to change in your life? I know I need to get rid of this relationship. It really is not serving. He's always making promises and then not keeping them. He says he's going to come by and he doesn't. He says he's going to send me money and he doesn't. He says he's going to take care of the kids and he doesn't. He says he's going to take out the trash and he doesn't. I know I need to make a change. Well, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. When is later? So, but it's up to you, boo. It's up to you, And this is no shade. This is no, I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything. I want the absolute best for you. I want you to live your best life. I want you to feel free. I want you to be happy. And what I'm trying to do is to point out those little things that keep us going around the same mountain over and over and over again, and we can't figure out, or we can't see a path forward. And so, my goal is to help you see that path forward, that you do have choices. There is a better way. You can make improvements in your life. This time, say 5 years ago or so, I was in a job that I hated. It was so difficult. It had a lot of prestige. I was doing well, financially, but I hated the job. I really didn't like the job. I didn't like the people. I didn't, it was really difficult. And I felt like, well, what will I do? How can I leave this? Because I kind of like paying my mortgage and my car note. What can I do? And I talked to a friend of mine, and she said, well, why don't you look at retiring? And I just assumed that it would not be enough to sustain me, that I would not be, I don't know what I was thinking, but I hadn't looked. I hadn't even considered. And then when I started looking at the numbers, I was like, wait a minute, I might actually do better. I think this could work. And so a lot of times, we procrastinate because we don't have the information that we need in order to really make the change that we want to make. What I really wanted to do was to start a company where I could help women. That was my entire goal. And I felt I could be far more effective if I did it from the outside than what I was trying to do in my job, because that clearly wasn't working. Those folks, whoo, Lord. But anyway, but you know what? It wasn't all bad. I learned some valuable lessons. I learned a lot, a whole heck of a lot. And so it's no shade, no criticism, no nothing. But for my mental health and for my physical health, because while I was there in 2014, I was diagnosed with cancer. And that's something I wouldn't wish on, on anybody, anybody. But I think that sometimes when you get a diagnosis like that, it is good to, stop and take stock of, what's going on in your life. And I was under so much stress. And personally, now this may not be true for you, may not be true for everybody. I don't know. I'm not saying. But for me, I felt the stress that I was under was very much a contributing factor in that diagnosis. So anyway, I'm fine now. I did a little something, something, you know, and got rid of it. And, hopefully I do not have to deal with that ever again this side of heaven. But, beloved, if you got stress going on in your life, it's going to come out, one way or the other. It comes out with either you, self medicating, or, I've got some friends who, are under a lot of stress, and they drink a bottle of wine every night, you know. So, there are all kinds of ways that we deal with it, but it is far more effective to acknowledge the things, even if it's scary, even if it's difficult, to acknowledge those things, and then you can go about seeking real change. But you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Darn, that was good. Let me say that one again. You cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So, acknowledgement is the absolute key to making change in your life. If that's what you're trying to do, hey, acknowledge. Be willing to just stand flat-footed, look it dead in the eye, and say, this is something that I need to change. I'm not going to tolerate this in my life anymore. Whether it's being sick all the time, whether it's a dysfunction, relationship. And this can be family too. Let's not forget, family can be a source of stress, you know. Anyway, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your life. I'm just trying to help you. So, you know where to find me. Feel free to email me or message me on Facebook if you would like to learn more about our coaching. And I always look forward to hearing from folk. And, I just want you to live your best life. I want you to be you times a million. So with that, we're going to end here. That was part 3 of steps you need to go through in order to make effective change in your life. And bottom line, if there's a takeaway, it's be willing to really look at what's going on and the changes that you say you want to make, and stop the procrastination. So, in any event, I love you. I'm rooting for you. I know you can do this. Absolutely. And until next time, just remember, everything you want is on the other side of fear. So, love you. Love you much. And until next time, be good, walk tall, stop procrastinating. Take care. Bye bye.